from all the things I talk about, let's go back into sports. For God's sakes. Dallas Cowboys are 6-1 currently in the NFC East, packing up multiple wins over their division rivals that are probably going to go up second half of the season. And then they're possibly going to lead up in wild card, even though they're division leaders. Currently, they're in a 6-game winning streak. Deprived of their 6-game winning streak, they have beaten one team that is above 500. They've at least sparked at least some sets of points over 15 against teams like the Carolina Panthers, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're one of the worst teams in the NFC East, the New York Giants, that suck, and the New England Patriots, that suck. They're passing up over their bye that they did have a slow but competitive game against the Minnesota Vikings where they picked up their 6th win of the season. They've only had one overtime game against the New England goddamn Patriots, and they haven't faced real competition since they lost opening week against Tampa Bay earlier up in the season. They even picked up a win against the Vikings with Cooper Rush, that even with 2 touchdowns, he went over 300 yards, had a pretty average completion ratio, and got sacked 3 times. Barely grounded the ball and played pretty decent for a second-string QB over Dak Prescott. That's only played a majority of 6 games. Had an average completion rating consistent than the last couple seasons, over 1,800 yards and only with 16 TDs. With 4 interceptions. So passable at best, but I feel like he has accuracy issues and not really reliable on the run. And plus they're just now facing off against real competition. Let's just keep it a buck. The Chargers that were starting off good were 4-1 until they started a 2-game losing streak against teams garbage. I think they lost after beating the Chiefs, and I think they even scuffed the Ravens earlier part of the season. They're getting beat by the Patriots, and they beat over the Browns, and now everybody's beating the Browns. The Steelers currently still have the longest winning streak against a rival over the past 20 years since their return inception back in 1999. Now these are teams that might, and we're heading over to near the second half of the season, and these are the teams that might still give some semblance of threats. Uncomfortability, and I think just a reality check the Cowboys need, if I'm even willing to give them a bit of praise. Atlanta, because they still have a top-notch young offense, and Matt Ryan's still a passable QB with a shitty backfield. The Vegas Raiders, New Orleans Saints that upsetted the Buccaneers, and still are a passable offense. Alvin Kamara's not doing so hot, but their secondary is still pretty hot with Cameron Jordan giving some decent pressuring because they haven't faced a top 15 defense over this majority of the season. You're facing teams that could allow 25 to 30 points, like the Cowboys, like the Patriots, like the Eagles. Are you kidding me? Now you're facing off against passable defenses like the Saints or the Washington football team twice. And then you have the Cardinals. They're one of the best teams in the league come in the second to last game of the season. And then you guys got a kind of easy pick-me-up game. If they can follow up and at least go, 10-7? I could possibly see them losing to the Chiefs because they're on the road. I can only expect the worst or weird because they're going to be facing harsher competition, like they did only facing LA and losing by 3, and then losing by under 5 against Tampa Bay, so it's shown that they can even be competitive against tougher competition. I don't know if they can remain overly consistent. And I don't know how it is with hamstring over with Cooper holding him back a bit, but still playing good football. So is D.D. Lamb and Dak pretty much limited off the jump with a tough calf injury, paying him that $100 million. He can still barely keep himself, you know, safe. It's pretty garbage because he's an overhyped schlock of a system QB that can never make an innovative offense. I'm being serious. And even Ezekiel Elliott, he's playing a near full season, but he's coming up off his weakest carries over the season with only 571. Not even in the top 10 running backs conversation right now with the amounts he averaged over a snap, and only hitting over an 18 long. That's like what a fullback averages for a long yardage over the season. If he's trying to get a big play over for his team, and they have Corey Clemens that can put up that type of average. Now, don't get me wrong, there is talent. I'm not saying that the Cowboys suck and everybody on their team suck, but I can tell that they at least have some talent. I like Malik Turner, Michael Gallup, that's a reliable slot. Amari Cooper's one of the best deep threats they have over the season, and he's putting up some really good numbers. Highest receiver up on the team, and don't forget about D.D. Lamb. That's even the leading receiver on the team with a higher catch percentage than a majority of the receivers. And Corey Clement. Don't know about Cedric Wilson Jr., even though he's only started 2 games and has a good receiving, has a good percentage off the receiving. But obviously doesn't get the ball as much, and they only use him for, I guess, handoff plays. Their defense with Malik Hooker, Trayvon Diggs that's putting up Pro Bowl numbers. And I get much of Keanu Neal that comes from Atlanta. And of course, we can't forget about their linebacker, Leighton Vander Esch. It's always difficult to pronounce that name. It's Vander Esch, but they're separate. It'd be better off if they put that stuff together, but he puts up an average sack percentage. He always tackles up in the backfield. He doesn't get that much tackles for loss, but he's effective whenever they need to cover the blitz, but they've been facing teams with the weakest O-lines in the league. So possibly he either improves or just steps down. But there's talent. No one's denouncing that, but they haven't faced competition. That's all I'm saying. I know it's the earlier half of the season, and they might do well. Or they might fail. Hopefully they prove me wrong. That's all I gotta say. And that's it coming from me. At least the only positive is that it's the second half of the season, and there's an NFC East team that's actually above 500. The Eagles are a complete joke yet, even though they keep falling away in games. The Giants can play decent football. Daniel Jones is one of at least I think the second best quarterback on the NFC East. And of course, the Washington football team has good youth defensively, but they're not going to win a lot of games this season. So it's obvious that the division leaders are going to be the Cowboys. Other than that's all I got. If you're trying to see me even roast most of these players, it could be like a fat chick wearing a crop top, and that's Ezekiel Elliott's wear for a majority of his career. Other than that, thanks for watching. That's it for me. For wrestling content, another content that I come around. Of course, you can go over and see the bullshit I have to deal with on Twitter, and why I don't even like social media for this type of bad takes. People can just spoke on a whim and not bring any actual facts on the table. But I digress. Thanks for watching. And shouts out to TJ, the Prodigy, and went over to his stream before. Cool dude, great content creator, and hopefully he grows fast. So probably you see him in this channel. So is Destructor. Still love that Dewdrop video that somehow blew up. I don't know how that happened. And of course, Destroyer BHB and People Ruin Everything was up in the stream the other night and it was fun. Other than that, that's it for me. Thanks for watching.